Okay.
We are live.
There's always such a delay between this and the YouTube, and I'm kind of like waiting to see us on TV here. Oh, there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lunch and Life with Robin and Sharon. I'm Sharon Holand Gelfand, and my amazing co-host here took over last week when I wasn't feeling well. So thank you, Robin. You did an awesome job. And
I missed you very much.
I missed being there, but you certainly held down the fort, and another reason why I love unpacking lunch with you.
Well, I love unpacking lunch with you. I got to talk to myself for a little bit, but it wasn't as much fun.
Well, we're back together this week, and we're going to dive back into the third week. Robin will do a little bit of a recap before we move forward, but just briefly, I'm Sharon Holand Gelfand, author of The Gut Method, Secrets Beyond Your Plate for a Healthier, More Energetic Life. I'm a functional, holistic nutritionist, helping you get to the root of your most common health complaints with at-home testing and flexible food choices so you have more energy, less stress, and feel great again.
Awesome. And I am Robin Joy Meyers. I am a molecular geneticist turned fear strategist, and I work with women over 50 to really fall in love with themselves, right? That is your number one relationship. And this way you can thrive through life's transitions and find your true joy, which means just own you.
Fantastic. And so last week you were talking about the depression rates and the suicide rates, I believe it was, giving statistics. And I'm probably mashing this up right now.
No, actually, you're not. I was talking about really coming off of Hallmark and Alone But Not Lonely, and Alone in Solitude is time of growth, but the loneliness and isolation rates are just gigantically, enormously increasing, right? And how loneliness is really an epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like every day it changes, but it's like 3 out of 5 people, or but how physically it impacts as well as mentally. And so, how can holidays can be hard for people on any given year, but how do we really handle it now?
Right.
What's going on?
Right. And it's really interesting because you're absolutely right. It does affect us physically. And a lot of times what happens is people will go and they will want to take something, a medication or something to help with the mental side of it, which is, many cases it's individual, right? So a lot of times it's needed, but they compartmentalize it, not realizing that they can't just focus just on the mental health. They have to look at physically, because mental health creates so much stress in the body, which affects the gut, which affects the overall health, which is also why I love how well we work together and talk about these issues, because of how health and nutrition is so much bigger than just one part.
Absolutely. So it's kind of your brain is 2 brains and not just 1 brain. And so I left off yesterday. See, this is how fast.
It's like yesterday.
I left off last week with that we would bring in you and your expertise on the gut, right? And it's not just the brain; it is the other brain
Right.
of the gut, and how we can not only make better choices, but listen, medications are needed for certain things, but how we can also be proactive. And in this time where we're isolated, like what can we do, even food wise, and to help promote healthy eating and immunity, and what foods make us feel good, right? And sometimes we were doing like the comfort foods and the cooking and things like that, but we can pack it in with nutrition as well.
Absolutely. And as you had mentioned last week about starting the day with your 5-minute routine of setting your intentions, of building that routine, is adding on, starting with physically that body scan in the morning, right? So before we even get to the food, it's okay, so taking care of my mental state of starting my 5-minute routine. Now let me connect to how am I feeling? What's going on through my body? And writing it down. We always talk about, your thoughts to pen to paper moves the energy so that we can then have more space and declutter our brain, which will then lower the stress levels and the anxiety levels, which will then allow us to be more connected. And, interestingly, yes, we talked about the comfort foods last month. When as we enter winter, fall to winter, there's a reason that Mother Nature has different vegetables and fruits for different times of the year. And we have gotten so far away from eating intuitively and understanding how different foods for different seasons ground us and give us the nourishment that we need is so important because we're so busy eating advertisements, picking up the boxes and the labels. And in the wintertime, we need heartier grounding foods, root vegetables to help ground us, to help keep us connected to earth, to our bodies, so that we're not flitting all over the place, right? In the summer, you want lighter foods because you want to be airy. In the winter, you want to be more grounded. And so the acorn, all the different squashes and the sweet potatoes, that will help to ground us, give us a lot of nutrients, of course, balancing it with protein and other vegetables, but really looking to the root vegetables, which have soluble and insoluble fiber, which help to take care of your gut. So if you reduce the inflammation in the gut, that's going to also help you feel better. And I'm talking so quickly because you know how I get so excited about all of this.
You go for it. It's okay. Go for it.
Yeah, but feel free to just interject anytime. Or if I'm talking so quickly and you can't, just be like, "Whoa, hey, Sharon, stop."
I'll get a whistle out or something. That's okay. You go, Sharon.
So it's important. That's why I also like soups and stews. Those warming foods just help keep us warm, helps keep us grounded, helps keep our minds clearer because we're nourishing our bodies. And now the other thing, have you ever had golden milk?
No, what's golden milk?
Oh God. So I don't even know how long I discovered this, how long ago. It's part of like Ayurvedic medicine, which is more of the Eastern philosophy. And golden milk is made with spices that are anti-inflammatory and are rich in antioxidants. And it's made
like turmeric or?
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of like making your own chai latte. So you make it with a non-dairy milk, like unsweetened almond milk or coconut milk or any plant-based milk that you want. Make sure it's unsweetened because we don't need the extra sugar to add more stress to our bodies. And adding ginger and cinnamon and turmeric, because in curcumin's in turmeric, and that's what has that anti-inflammatory antioxidant component, and even throwing in a dash of black pepper because that makes the curcumin in the turmeric more bioavailable to our bodies. So this drink with these warming, grounding spices that you could drink every day, like in the afternoon, if you just feel like, or early evening, it then helps to relax the body. It helps the body to reduce that inflammation, builds the immune system, and it's warming, right? So it feels good. And when we feel good, then our bodies relax and our brains relax and they declutter. So it's all connected.
See, I like that kind of thing, especially like mid to late afternoon or early evening, where I want that warming thing. And sometimes I get that like craving, and it's not necessarily for sugar. It's just for warmth. I think it's something just to warm, and that satisfies me.
Well, interesting that you say craving, because actually cinnamon, what's great about cinnamon is that it helps to stabilize your blood sugar. So it helps to reduce that craving. So, adding that, and actually like we can put the what do you call it? I can put the recipe in the comments in the description below so that everybody can have an idea, but you can easily just Google it because there are so many great recipes and you can adjust to it. But what I like to do generally just quickly is I'll do like a cup of unsweetened coconut milk. Some people use the can of full fat coconut milk, which is fine as long as it's organic. And I use about 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, and I do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon because I personally love it. A lot of people think it's cinnamon too much. Or you can throw a cinnamon stick, because what you do is you put it in a saucepan and you add about 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, which is also great for digestion. And I do too. And I don't know if when you were little, and I don't know if you ever got stomach aches, but did you ever have ginger ale?
All the time, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So me too. But obviously now it's like, oh my God, ginger ale with all the sugar in it, it's like so terrible. It's so
Yeah.
different. But that's what we were given when we had upset stomach. To
Hmm.
calm that feeling was to have ginger ale. So now having the ginger and just warming it up on a saucepan,
Wow.
which and then that's it. It's like, making your own hot chocolate, but it's golden tea instead.
I love that. No, I'm going to try that. No, ginger's a favorite of mine, and cinnamon's a favorite of mine. In fact, I put cinnamon pretty much in oatmeal. I put it in pancake mix. I put it in everything.
I do
Everything.
also.
I
I
love
do
cinnamon.
also. I love cinnamon. And yeah, again, so it's very healthy. And so, and the thing is too, it's like we try so hard to do so much, right, all at once. So it becomes overwhelming. And yet, if we just take that step back and realize, okay, let me add some root vegetables, let me make maybe stews and soups, so one thing, and let me have some golden tea, so that you're incorporating a bunch of different, like a variety of the spices and some vegetables to help ground you, right? Because it's not just about like, oh my God, I have to remove everything. Because as you were saying earlier, indulgence.
Hmm.
This is about what tweaks, what can I bring in to
Yeah.
help to balance so that I can, hey, if I go to the holiday party and I want to have whatever the Christmas cookie is or the Hanukkah, latke
Right.
or pumpkin pie, it's allowing yourself to indulge, but also taking care of yourself
Hmm.
at the same time.
And I love the soups. I love soups anyways, but there's nothing to me better than whether it's, I mean, you can do it in a one pot on the stove, but just a crock pot and
Yeah.
a chili or a soup or a stew, you set it and you go, really.
Mm.
So, especially with the holidays and people, well, not as many are coming around, but your family can come and go and eat. And it's not so much what's for dinner or what's for lunch. Like it's there and it stays warm and it's an easy and it's healthy and it's hearty. It's just satisfying.
Yeah. And what's great about that too, besides, everything you just said, is that you can make a few different kinds in one day and then have them for the whole week. So you alternate so that you don't get bored because,
Hmm.
they make a lot when you make them, right? So you want to have a variety. So it's like,
Hmm.
why not make a few different kinds and then throw in some dark green leafy vegetables and, adding to the antioxidants and the health benefits, like, just makes it for an easier week because you planned it.
Right. I also find it's a great way to use what's in your fridge, right?
Mm,
Because there's not much that you can't put into a good stew or soup, right? So
yeah,
if you have just that little bit left of some leafy something, right? Like that half a bag of kale or whatever that is, that you can just dump it in.
absolutely. And, funny that you even say that because I made this really good, it was like a butternut squash stew with coconut milk and it called for lentils, but I didn't have lentils. So I was like kind of going through my cupboard of what can I use? And I had millet and I was like, oh my God, I haven't used this in ages. Let me use it instead of the lentils. So it's playing around with, like you said, what's in my pantry? You probably have so many things that
Right.
we've forgotten about. It's a great time to move it around.
Right. As we declutter other things, we can declutter the pantry and use it up.
Yes.
And it's also a good way to check your expiration dates too. I found some very I'm saying that to all of you because I found some very old expiration dates in my pantry, which I was
Oh my God. I did
embarrassed.
also. I found a can of something and I just was like, well, can I still use it? No.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't think so.
For the risk of killing myself. No.
Exactly. But, with this month of bringing the weekly information to everyone, it's just, we want to end the year strong. We want to start 2021 strong. And by taking these small steps every day, it builds on it so that, for 2021, we don't, and we'll talk about this because next week we're off, but we're going to be back, right? We're off next week?
We're going to take next week off
No,
because what is it? It's the
Christmas Eve
24th,
day. Yeah.
but we'll be back for Christmas Eve day.
Right. And we'll really talk about the, wrapping it all up.
Hmm.
And for me, I want to plant the seed of having everybody think about letting 2021, forgetting about resolutions and letting 2021 be the year of the undiet,
I love that.
of tuning in and becoming an intuitive eater and trusting and learning how to listen to your body. So taking those steps now to setting your intention, to having your morning routine, to eating grounding foods, it's helping you prepare for that foundation so that you can launch off into a better year.
Yeah, and I will second that with what you're saying and say it is a year. Forget the resolution. Just set the intentions as to what you really want, and use this time as we get close to the end to plant the seed to set the intentions. Right. So sit in the time that you have, in that time of solitude, which is that time of growth, and think about like what ideally could you have, because you can create that. So what does that really look like for you? And think big, do not filter it. Think about, what is it? What do I want? What is those dreams? And so as we roll into it, the seeds are planted and the action steps are ready to go into action, because we can create what we want. It's really important to think that way. And that nothing can hold us back.
Nothing. Absolutely. I don't really have anything more to add to that.
No,
I think
I don't either.
I think we
But
did a pretty good job.
I think we did a pretty good job. I think, we did great.
I think we pat ourselves on the back for that one, right? Hey,
Oh,
listen, we have to have fun through all of this, because now, especially with here in New York City, they shut down the restaurants again. There's country shutting down again. I
yeah.
mean, vaccines are coming out, but still, we're still in the height of all of this. So you have to find the fun and the joy in the moment every single day.
You do. You have to find the time and that fun, and find what gives you joy.
Yes. And for those watching, put in the comments below, what does bring you joy? What are ways that you start your day? Share that with us. We definitely read everything, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
Let us know, because
Okay.
when we come back for the day of New Year's Eve, we'd love to read some of those and know what are your intentions coming for 2021? What is that thing that you want to create?
Absolutely.
So
I love that. That's a great idea. All right. You have your homework assignments, everybody.
get to work.
And on that note, I love unpacking lunch with you.
I
And
love unpacking lunch with you, and thanks for joining me this week. It was awesome to have someone to talk to.
man, it just feels like it was so long ago.
I know.
So happy to be back.
Glad you're back.
All right, everyone. Have a very happy and a healthy Hanukkah and Christmas, and we'll see you New Year's Eve day.
We'll see you New Year's Eve day, everyone. So stay safe and healthy and enjoy.
So long.
Bye.